Hola.
Hola.
Bienvenidos a LightSpeed Spanish.
Bienvenidos.
This week we are bringing you number 6 in our beginner series. And today we're talking about handy questions in Spanish.
Handy question.
Handy questions. Pues vamos a hablar de todo en la segunda parte.
How do you say handy questions?
Preguntas útiles.
Sí, we would say useful.
Useful, yeah.
Questions.
Yeah, you wouldn't say
Preguntas.
preguntas manios.
Bonitas.
Okay.
Handy, because handy, if you use it as an adjective, he's a handy person or a handyman. We would say es un manitas.
Manitas, yeah.
When you've got little hands, you're very good at something.
Yeah.
But if you've got big hands, un manazas, you're clumsy.
Clumsy, yeah. And I suppose handy in English is because it's close to hand. You can reach it.
Yeah. Also, yes, you can say that. It's very handy. Yeah.
Yeah. Handy as in like
Así
it's
es,
handy
no,
questions or
good
questions you can turn to very. Yeah. Okay.
Muy bien.
Bien. Okay. So we're going to start.
Lesson with
There you
the
are.
lesson.
There you are. Now we're going to start off with some very basic, great questions for conversation. When you're learning Spanish, the key is not to speak Spanish, right? Not to talk all the
Ya
time.
está.
The key is to ask great questions.
Yes.
Yeah? The better your questions, the more Spanish you learn.
And also because you can control the situation a bit more if you're the one asking questions.
Absolutely.
And you know what the topic is about.
Yeah.
You go, okay, this is the
It's
topic
very
I'm
true.
bringing.
Good point. When you're talking to somebody, if you struggle to understand them or struggle to keep up with the theme, ask the question and at least you know what they're going to talk about. Yeah, and it helps a tremendous amount. I've used it for a long time. So the first question, Cynthia, is from the verb vivir, to live.
Vivir.
And you want to know where somebody lives. So what you do is you say this. Cynthia, ¿dónde vives?
Vivo en Guadalajara, en España.
Oh. So if you notice that I said ¿dónde vives? Yeah. You, my friends, remember when we did the conjugation of the verbs? And Cynthia, because she's talking about herself, said vivo.
Vivo.
I live. Yeah. En Guadalajara.
Sí, en Guadalajara, en España. ¿Y tú dónde vives?
Yo vivo también en Guadalajara.
También en Guadalajara. ¡Qué coincidencia!
Qué coincidencia. Vivo en nuestra casa.
Fíjate. Eso sí es una coincidencia.
Okay. So that's a nice one. The donde vives. But also, if you quite often somebody's not living where they were born.
No.
So the question to ask somebody, where are you from originally? What's that one?
¿De dónde eres?
De donde eres. Okay, so we're using ser, the verb to be, yeah?
So in English you say, where are you from? And in Spanish we say, from where are you?
From
¿De dónde eres?
Okay, so de donde eres. And that's always where you're from originally. Where were you born, basically? Yeah? And the answer is, soy de, and then. So, por ejemplo, soy de Inglaterra, de South Shields.
Okay. If he said, for example, soy de Inglaterra, and I wanted to know, yeah, but where in England, no? You could say, ¿de qué parte de Inglaterra? So, what part, from what part?
From what part?
Of England.
Yeah.
¿De qué parte de Inglaterra?
De South Shields, cerca de Newcastle.
Está en el norte,
Sí,
en el sur,
en el noreste de Inglaterra.
noreste.
Noreste. Y Cintia, ¿de dónde eres tú?
Yo soy de Madrid.
¿Del centro?
Nací en el centro. Nací, I was born. In English you say I was born, but in Spanish we only have one verb, nacer. Nacer is to be born.
I born.
I born. I born. So you would say, you would use the past tense in preterite. Nací. I was born. Nací en Madrid,
I'm Madrid.
en el centro de Madrid,
Okay.
pero me crié.
Oh.
Me crié. I was raised. Me
raised.
crié en Torrejón de Ardoz.
Okay, so criarse is I was raised, or as we would say, I was brought up. Yeah, not like that. I was brought up.
By your answer. Gordon, tú eres de Inglaterra.
Sí.
¿Dónde naciste? Where were you born?
Okay.
¿Dónde naciste?
Yo nací en un pueblo que se llama Jarrow.
Ah, Jarrow. Vale. ¿Y dónde te criaste? Where were you raised?
Okay, me crié en South Shields. So once we've got that over, because they're short answers, okay, so you know you need something a bit more interesting. You say, so what do you do? What do you do? Yeah.
Well, before that, if you want to take it even further, you can say, what is there in whatever place they said
Good. Yeah.
they were raised? ¿Qué hay en South Shields para ver? Por ejemplo, ¿qué hay en South Shields?
What is that?
What is there in South Shields to see?
Yeah.
¿Qué hay en South Shields para ver?
I mean,
For example.
the truth of the matter is that everybody is waiting to talk about themselves. They just need a little bit of encouragement. So, you know, ¿qué hay en South Shields? Or, ¿y South Shields es muy grande? You don't have to ask really difficult questions. It doesn't matter. Just open the door and people go, grande, bueno, la, la, la. And then half an hour later, you know everything about South Shields or Madrid. Yeah.
Muy bien.
Okay. And then let's talk about work when you want to find out what somebody does. And you've got some options, okay? Mm-hmm. So the first one is they say, in what do you work? Like there's no do. In what you work, that's what they say. Bear in mind that in Spanish, you can't finish a sentence with a preposition. You can't say, what do you work in? Yeah? Or where are you from? It's always from where are you, in what do you work, okay? So how do you say in what do you work?
¿En qué trabajas? ¿En qué trabajas?
So in what do you work? Mm-hmm. And then the answer is, well, the various things. You can use the verb ser and talk about what you are with your profession. Mm-hmm. Soy profesor.
Mm-hmm. Muy bien.
Okay, so I am. And you don't need un. You don't need to say soy un profesor.
Soy profesor.
Profesor, yeah?
Soy profesor, and then you can add de. Soy profesor de matemáticas. Soy profesor de filosofía, por ejemplo.
Exactly. So you can do your profession. You just need to find out what your profession is. However, there's another way of asking, which is this. It's what do you dedicate yourself to? The thing is, not everybody works. So that question is more like, well, you know, what do you spend most of your time doing? And what do you dedicate yourself to? How do you say that?
¿A qué te dedicas? ¿A qué te dedicas? ¿A qué te dedicas?
Yeah, a bit of a mouthful. I used to hear that said, ¿a qué te dedicas? And I used to think, what are they saying? Yeah. So what do you dedicate yourself to? So
it's not a mouthful in English.
Eh?
What do you dedicate yourself to?
We would never say that. We always say, what do you do? What do you do for work? What do you do for work? Okay. So maybe you could say, well, I'm retired. Yeah. Now in Spain, it's slightly different to some other countries. How do we say I'm retired?
Well, I would say estoy jubilada.
Mm-hmm. And I would say estoy jubilado.
You can also say soy jubilada or soy jubilado. Okay. Mm-hmm. You can use the verb ser or estar. Mm-hmm. We tend to use the verb estar.
Yeah. Yeah, that's what I hear here in Spain. But everyone understands both. Eh? Mm-hmm. Yeah. And then also if you're not retired and you're not working, maybe you are somebody who takes care of the children at home. Yeah. Mm-hmm. And so if you're the mum taking care of the children, what's that?
Soy ama de casa.
All right.
Ama de casa.
And every once in a while, the man decides to do the job as well. And what would he be?
Amo de casa.
Amo de casa. So ama, the lover of the house. I think it's a beautiful name, that. Yeah. So
No, it's not the lover of the house. He's the owner of the house.
Sí, el amo, no. El amo is the controller.
Eso es. It's not because you love your house.
I remember it as the lover of the house. I love that.
It's nicer though.
It sounds better, doesn't it?
The lover and the owner of the house.
Yeah. And then the last one for some really nice questions. This one. ¿Tienes pasatiempos?
Oh, tienes pasatiempos.
Yeah. And pasatiempo, you'll also hear hobbies, but we're trying to just use the Spanish words.
Let's use the Spanish
Yeah.
words.
¿Tienes pasatiempos? Pastimes.
Gordon. ¿Tienes pasatiempos?
Sí, tengo pasatiempos.
¿Qué pasatiempos tienes?
Bueno, me gusta tocar la guitarra y me gusta cantar. Me gusta hacer deporte. Bueno, deporte, correr en el campo.
Vale,
Sí.
con el calor.
Con el calor. Me gusta escribir libros. Sí. Y me gusta trabajar.
Vale, muy bien.
Sí. So notice that when we talk about what we like, we say me gusta, and because we're going to add a verb on, me gusta trabajar, me gusta correr, me gusta cantar, it's always me gusta with the verb in the infinitive, yeah? And then you just add on what it is that you like to do.
Eso es.
Yeah? But the best question is, ¿qué te gusta hacer a ti? ¿Qué te gusta hacer a ti? Always ask the other person, yeah? It's always more interesting. You find out more about the person and you learn lots of Spanish that way.
And you learn loads about other people as well.
Absolutely. Pues eso es todo. Frases útiles.
Muy bien, Gordon, buen
Muy bien.
trabajo.
Sí, y ahora nos vamos.
Y nos vemos.
Hasta luego, adiós.
Adiós.